Hello YouTube, back once again with my film reviews, and tonight I saw the new horror comedy Goosebumps. And before I get into this, let me just say what my relationship with Goosebumps is. These were one of my favorite book series growing up. I loved reading this. I still have some of my old books from when I was a kid. I really loved these books when I was a kid. When I was like 8 or so, and they re-released the show on Cartoon Network, I did watch it. And even though it wasn't the best show, I enjoyed watching it. And yeah, and here we are, almost like, I think, what is it, like 20 years after this series started, and they're finally doing a movie with it. Okay. So yeah, just know going in, I'm a huge fan of the license. One of my most nostalgic aspects from when I was a kid. So yeah, let's get into this movie. Well, the plot of this movie is it's about a kid who moves from New York into, I think it was Detroit, to Detroit. And he starts befriending and starting a relationship with his next door neighbor, the daughter of R.L. Stine. And then one night, the kid hears R.L. Stein's daughter arguing with R.L. Stein, and so he goes to try to help her with his friend, and then they accidentally release Slappy from the manuscript pages of Night of the Living Dummy, and then Slappy starts releasing all the other monsters, and then it's the three kids and R.L. Stein trying to get the monsters back into their book and survive the night, and that's one of the movie. And let's get to the bad of this movie. Well, what I gotta say, the plot's really creative to this movie. They could have essentially just take one of the books, just taken any one of them, and just like try to stretch that into like an hour and a half runtime. But no, they just basically just like went for a very meta, very fourth wall breaking, very creative plot. They let their imaginations kind of go wild with this movie. This is a very imaginative movie well, at least the plot is, and I give this movie a lot of credit for that. And the cast was all very good. They all seemed to be having a lot of fun and all had high energy. The main two of Dylan Minnette and Odeya Rush, I hope I'm saying those names right, as the main kid and R.L. Stein's daughter, they were great with each other. They played off each other well. They had some really good chemistry, and they were both very likable. You want to see them get through this really crappy situation and all the crap that gets thrown at them. Ryan Lee, who played one of the kids in Super 8, he was really good. He was good comic relief. He definitely made some of the awkward humor come off as pretty funny. He had some pretty good delivery, him. And finally, Jack Black is R.L. Stine, the author of Goosebumps. He was very enjoyable, R.L. Stine. I mean, Jack Black as R.L. Stine. He was just very gleefully over the top insane. He was probably the funniest when he was trying to be creepy during the first third. He was tons of fun, just coming up as so, like, what the hell? Like, one of my favorite lines is just when he's just saying to the main kid, just like, stay away from me and my house, kid, or something really scary will happen. And the main character's like, yeah, I believe that. I thought that was pretty funny. And the jokes were very hit and miss throughout this movie. There were some really funny and really creative jokes throughout this movie from beginning to end. Some were way more clever than I ever thought I would get from this movie. That and something could be really clever and really meta at the same time. Like, there's one joke that's so cleverly meta. I'm not even sure if this was unintentional or not, but this is a very slight spoiler of the movie. If you don't want to know it, cut out now. But R.L. Stein's cameos, the real R.L. Stein cameos in one scene in this movie, and they're just like, oh hey there, Mr. Black. Well, first the joke being that Jack Black, R.L. Stein, and they're just like, hey, Mr. Black, and then they're like, and then the kid one of them just says like, who was that? Oh, that was Mr. Black, the drama teacher. And was that supposed to be a joke for like anyone who watched the show, the fact of how infamously bad R.L. Stein was at acting in that show? Because if it was, that's an incredibly clever joke right there. I honestly think they may have been going for the fact that, like, that just seems like way too specific of a small detail just to throw out that he's the drama teacher, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say they went for that, and for that's an example. That is a really creative and really clever joke right there, like, far more than you would think you would get from this. So kind of was hit and miss, but what there was some definitely really great, some very bizarre and creative humor throughout this movie. That the movie wasn't afraid of being intense at times. Like, it wasn't like this was all shrugged off for laughs. The main villain of Slappy, I thought he could be really creepy at times. Even as a grown adult, like that puppet dude right there always scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I liked reading the book, but I always had to like try to cover the cover with my hands so like I wouldn't see the doll's face. But like even as like an 18-year-old, he was scaring me. I did think it was scary mainly for the fact like he was a practical effect, and like that did like for the fact like when he was moving around, he just moved around kind of awkwardly because he was a real ventriloquist dummy. Like, it did look creepy and real, so that was great. So film wasn't afraid of being creepy and intense, and they could have easily not done that. They could have so easily just taken Slappy, make him look silly, and just make him spew dumb one-liners. But they did. They actually made him pretty creepy in a few scenes. So kudos to this movie. And there was some really nice visuals to this movie. There was some really some of the sets were really nice and creative, mainly the amusement park. That was a really nice effect. Looked cool. It gave a very Halloween feeling. Like, definitely gave that feeling of late autumn. So that was nice. And some of the monsters, like the gnomes, but like especially Slappy, like I said, being a practical effect as the dummy, were really good. Like I said, like the fact that it was a real dummy didn't make it look really creepy, even creepier in some scenes. So that was really great, and this film really, and the writers of this film really did show they had respect for the source material. Like that, there was all these really lovably, nice small touches to in the backgrounds of this movie, like with the monsters. Like, if you're a fan of this, if you were a fan of this book series when I was a kid, like when you were young, like you can just have so much fun just like looking at scenes when there's a monster on screen, like what, and just trying to remember, okay, what book was that monster from? Because these were all from monsters from the books. Like, they didn't make any up for the film, and gotta give this film a lot of credit for that. These were all from R.L. Stine books, or Goosebumps books, and I give the film a lot of credit for that. And like, just like the fact for things like Slappy's the main villain, like, yeah, that's a great idea to make like they didn't just make some like random generic like character the villain. No, they made like the poster child of Goosebumps the main villain. Like, it definitely showed that these writers cared about the source material, and I really do give this movie credit for that. What are the bads of this movie? This is by no means a perfect movie, guys. Bad, like I said, the humor, even though the humor when it was funny could be really funny and creative, there was definitely a lot of cringe-worthy jokes when you're just like, oh my god, did they really just say that? Like, when it really felt like they were just appeasing to like the younger audience they knew they knew that was going to be in the audience. So yeah, definitely there was their cringe worthers. That Jack Black could be real too over the top in a few scenes. Like, there were a few scenes you were just kind of like, now you're just being straight up silly. You're not being enjoyably over the top. You're just being silly at this point. That CGI could look really bad in a few scenes. Like, I could tell they were always going for a cartoony look, like, and it did work. For like when they did the CGI on the gnomes, I thought that looked great. But like when like some things, like when they did like the werewolf in CGI, it looked really bad. It looked beyond cartoony. It just looked stupid. The film could get a bit too fast paced at times. Like, this is a very fast paced movie, and there are scenes I was like, I just want them to slow down and let them have a character moment at the moment. But no, it just keeps going really, really fast. And finally, the ending to this movie, something a lot of people are talking about. Well, at first I was watching this ending and thought it was great. Like, what happens as starts happening at the end of the movie, I'm like, wow, this is way deeper and way more emotional than anything I was ever thought I would get in a Goosebumps movie. Like, it's actually a really like kind of like a sad and emotional ending, and I'm like, wow, did this movie really just go there? Because like, if this is like great, like, I can't believe they would honestly like go that far. But no, then last second the movie just turns around, just yells psych at the camera, and everything's okay. And I was just like, so close, movie. So close. Like, because as it stands, I give Goosebumps a very solid 3.5 out of 5. I really like this movie. It made me feel like a little kid reading these books again for the first time. Like it had to be, it just put on gave me one of the biggest smiles I've ever had in a movie. During this entire year, I was just smiling the entire way through, having so much fun. If it kept that ending that they originally started with, I would have said this is a great movie just for the fact it actually does get really emotional. But as it stands, it is a very fun adventure horror comedy, far better than it had any right to be. Even if you don't like this movie, you can't deny this is way better than it should have been. Okay, well, it's not the next Coraline. Like, if you want to walk into this and be like, I want the next Coraline, the next Paranorman, the next masterpiece of child's horror films right here. You're not going to get that with this movie. But this could have so easily been something like the next Smurfs movie when just not a single writer or director or anyone cared. They were just trying to quickly cash in on anyone who remembered this franchise. No, with this film, you could just tell there were a bunch of writers just saying down, we just put a lot of effort into, just said, we could easily make this a complete cash grab, but no, we're going to try our hardest to make something really creative and something really fun here. And it does show in this movie. If you don't like it, there is a lot of heart and creativity and enjoyment in this movie. And, just no fans of the books will probably enjoy this movie the most. Like if you have not read a Goosebumps book and you go to see this, I'd say that probably knocked the score down half a star. Like I'd say like it's a 3 out of 5. Then it's a fun, perfectly entertaining movie. But so just know that if you're not a fan, you're probably not gonna get into it as much as a fan of the series of the book series or TV show would. But as it stands, it was great seeing a legitimately good Goosebumps movie. It's surprising to see that. I honestly thought when I saw the first trailer of this movie, this was gonna be terrible, but it's good. It's actually good, and I am so happy it was because it did make me feel like a little kid watching this. While watching, I felt like a little kid again. So, YouTube, as always, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.